Hello and welcome back to Transports Fever 2, the UK modded series. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Now, last time out, I was trying out the Better Signals mod, and I was trying to work out how to get it working, which bits did work, which bits I was finding a little bit difficult, and thank you for the comments that people have put in, giving me, for example, a couple of links to Donuts. So Donuts was one of the Better Signals mods that I have installed, giving a link to Donuts tutorials for it, which I have watched, and something interesting has happened. So I have set up the Better Signals mods, and I'm expecting them to work the way I figured out by the end of the video, and the signals work. However, the waypoints that whatever I've placed down, the assets, despite being connected to the right waypoint or signal, do not work. And I thought, oh, perhaps something has broken. Maybe all the signaling has broken. No. The signal works absolutely fine. If I replace the asset, it starts working. But the assets currently are stuck either on a clear aspect or a danger aspect or whatever it is, which is somewhat annoying. So I have to figure out what is going on there and why that is a problem. In today's video, I'm not going to be looking at the Better Signals mod, and I'm not going to be trying it out. Yes, I'm probably going to look at swapping a few things over as time goes on, but that is going to be for a later date. I have to do what was I going to do? Splitting up the signals or splitting up the track into better blocks. So I will probably do some of that today, but using the old style signalling, just in case I've messed something up. So that is what I'm planning to do. But for this video today, the main part of it is going to be working on different towns. I'm going to move away from the railways again just for an episode, and start working on a couple of towns that are in dire need of additional work. So we've worked on Early, that has been done. This is Croydon, I think this is okay. Downham Market we have worked on, that has been done. West Mersey has been worked on, but Carnforth has not been worked on yet, and I think Early there is some, as I said, I've made some changes, perhaps not enough, but Carnforth is the one that really needs a lot of work. So we are going to jump over to the northwest of the map after the intro, take a look at what we can do and see how easy it is to improve Carnforth, and possibly that will require changing some of the freight lines. Make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about with the trains. Where's that train gone? Here we go. So you'll note that this signal is one that I have replaced. So I just changed this signal out. There should be a train coming through in a moment. There it is. Coming through with 100 passengers at 72 miles per hour, and we have a clear aspect signal. Now, signal ahead of it, also clear aspect. This signal I have changed is also clear aspect. Let's find out which one of these do and do not change. So I'm expecting this one to change so that the distant flag is showing clear, and the home flag, which is the red one, will be showing danger, do not pass, because I've changed this one. No, both of them have changed. That was awkward because I tested this just beforehand and it was working. So is that because there is an issue here? No. So just before I started recording this, I replaced that signal and it worked. Let's watch this one. There we go. They are stuck. And I'm just confused as to why. This one's stuck on red. It is not red. The signal is actually marking as green. And if I replace it, it will work. anybody know what is going on, please do let me know. That would be very, very useful. Let's move over to Cornforth, shall we? As I said we would. Over. All the way over. Come on, there we go. Now, Maxfield, it has actually built up quite a bit, but I'm waiting for this section to build up before I look at further expanding this. And of course, in early, I've put in this. This is perhaps not the best idea, thinking about it. The way this road should probably be going is down this way. So there does need to be some sort of change here at some point with a ring road with the ringway system. Something I wish to try out in Cornforth. So we have this road here. This road is not a problem. I'm okay with this road. What is a problem though is the fact that this is we have these tiny little roads here, and then we have a whole bunch of Cornforth that everything is piled in. Now I want to fill up this space. This is a space I'm going to work in a moment by taking all of this out and putting roads in there. However, I also need to look at trying to potentially get this to go over the top in a little bit of a better manner, but it does need to join up to this main road. And so I've been trying to figure out what is going to be the best way to do this. And in my opinion, the best way for me to do this is to bring this road out this way, go over the top like this, and then sweep the road in like that. That seems to be the best way to do it, which means that this bus stop is going to have to be pushed back. This entire depot is going to disappear and perhaps move over. I was thinking perhaps moving it over in this direction, and that way this bit will be okay. But before I even consider that, what I'm going to do is break this area. And I think given that I have plenty of saves with this, it is not going to be too much of an issue. What I do try and do is try and take pictures before and after of areas to see how they look. I could, in theory, expand Cornforth all the way out here and just fill this entire area up. That would not be too bad. That would not be too big a problem. Plus, we have this massive main road here which could go in this direction and be part of that elevated section that goes over here, meaning that this could just connect over and then go through there or under. And then this could go, we could have a road down here. Ooh, the possibilities are availing themselves. Okay, let me just start with just building things. Do I want to take a picture? Let's take a quick screenshot of Cornforth, and I'll just put keyframe in case we need that. It'd help if I put the keyframe in the right spot. Yes, that would be smart. There we go. Right. So that is Cornforth as we see it right now. Fairly decent place, but quite jam-packed. So let's start destroying these, which probably a good idea to destroy anyway. I'm actually considering destroying this as well. I think this could be a really good opportunity to push some industry into this area. And of course, these woods are the limit. That is the limit. We are not going to... What's going on? Who's blocked? Not again. Well, of course you are going to be blocked because you two are going off in... I don't know what direction. You should not be here. Why these trains end up out here is very, very confusing to me. I'm not sure how they've ended up there. I know somebody said it's when you change a route, but it does tend to get confused more often than not. Anyway, I will. So when you change a route and it is not paused, they tend to get a little bit confused and go off in various different directions. But I'm not sure why they end up in the slowest part of the map. They're supposed to take the fastest route to get back to where they were. That is clearly not. Yeah, that is clearly not what they do. So let us imagine that Carnforth Town Council, Carnforth City Council, whatever it is here, Lincolnshire County Council. Carnforth is in Lincolnshire, right? Just trying to think. Trying to remember where Carnforth is. Has purchased this area, this piece of land. So, what we are going to do is we shall begin by upgrading some roads, ensuring that the roads, I do have player ownership of it, and we shall upgrade the roads to... So we have these roads. What kind of roads are these? Narrow pavement. 2-lane road, narrow pavement. Interesting. I do not like those roads. They look too modern. That is the kind of road that I'm after. And so up to there we now have... This is no longer country road. I am going to change this entire road over to Macclesfield though. So it is about that time where such roads get changed. So we'll go ahead and update that to... Not with a motorway, no, don't be silly. 2-lane country road. Do I want that one or do I want this one? That is the question. I want this one, but I do not want not that one, sorry. This one, but I do not want the lane markings. That is basically what I'm after. No, you're just going to get upgraded. Does not matter. I wonder what it is complaining about. There we go. Okay. Yes, I do not want the lane markings on it. That is what I'm trying to avoid, but that's fine. So if this was a road, if this was a country road without lane markings, much, much happier. Can I destroy that tree? I want to get rid of a single tree, please. Yes, you. Destroy. There we are. Good. So now that we have this, I am going to put a road that goes from here. Maybe I should have this paused. I do not know. So I'll have a road that goes from here, but I kind of want... I want the woodland to remain. So this is going to be... I think this is going to be a little tough to try and get that woodland to remain, and then I can put a fence up or something. I'm going to try... I guess I could use the boundary markers to do this. I know that this will probably come back to bite me at a later date. Then I can do this. Run that as a straight line. Oh, hang on. No. Then I can do this. This is all a bit temporary, I will say. I'm not quite certain as to how well this is going to turn out. Words. I am capable of using them occasionally. then I could do that. So that is a road that goes from here. And it just keeps going, which is very unusual. That seems a bit too unusual for me. Now, do we have roads that continue on like that, just in the middle? I suppose we do. Yes, I suppose we do. And then I'm going to put some of these narrow roads in. So we'll have... Yes, at the back of this. It's not exactly the angle I was after. It's after that angle, please. Straight. There we go. And something that goes through and across like that, and then I want something that goes at the back of this thing. There we go. That's looking a little better. I need to destroy these and clean these up too. Right, and then could I connect that to that? It is possible. No, not that. So I can connect that there. This one is the one I'm interested in. This one I'm more interested in than anything else, because I was thinking, what would happen if I just connected that in? Because then you have this, see this road you have here that goes through there, and then that would become the loop for the inner ring. I am more tempted by that than anything else here, actually. So I'm more tempted to do this like that, and then connect this like that. That, to me, makes a bit more sense. Or I would break that and make that come along straight through here. Hold on. Just trying to... No. This makes sense, and then I can make a bunch of straight lines here. Yes, I will do that. So then I can just do this. And that would make sense with these roads. In fact, for this road, I'd probably... As for this road, I'd probably end up doing this. Or that. Sure. We'll do that. There we go. And possibly have a little... I'll deal with the spare later. We do need to put a park in here, which I was thinking... I'll have to have a look at a spot for a park. Parks are important. Parks are really, really important. What I do want to do is we must remember this is not America. Therefore, grids are not really a thing here. But something like this is. That is perfectly normal. As you would expect from Confusing Britain. Even something here, I'd go, most likely you'd end up with something that goes along this way, out like this, and then probably turns in and connects up here, like that, and then off that you would have some roads that perhaps did something along these lines. That's a bit too far. No, actually, that could work. Inefficient? Yes, probably. Do they look nice? Very much so. And here, I probably would ensure that none of these roads actually connect. So maybe I'll just make two little areas like that, and you just have a... Yes, That makes sense to me. Possibly that. No. Leave that as it is. That looks good. Okay, and then next up here, probably so I could connect that up. Would that make sense? So I'm trying to think about what would logically also make sense. And doing this, that probably does. Yes, that makes sense. And then from here, there would probably be an interesting little sharper. There we go. Probably an offshoot here that does not actually connect up to anything. It would just be perhaps where some additional industry came in, and then there'd be that area, and then this area would actually be blocked in properly with an actual, potentially with an actual block. Hang on. How far do we need that? 55 yards. So, out there. I'll sort out how this works in a moment. So we'll do another. The way you do this is you bring that up like that, that down to ensure you get the straight line like that, and then you just continue in that manner. And this is just to ensure that I've got 3 parallel roads here. There was a parallel tool I used to want to use. I took it out, but there was a tool I used to, once upon a time I used to use. This bit should probably just curve in like that. No. No. Why does it never work the way I want it to work? Sure, that could do. There we are. I think that is reasonable. Could turn that into a park. I'm going to have to find a spot for a park. This is a nice little park area. Look at this. Just have a park in the middle of... it is, that would be British. Take all of this out and just park that up. Yes, potentially I might do that. Okay, change this road now. So we'll go ahead and do some upgrades. And that is going to be for this road and this road. And you know what, whilst we're at it, might as well start upgrading the roads. As time goes on, roads do slowly upgrade. This bit is country road. That was intentionally done to try and avoid houses or anything building in that area. And then I completely messed up and turned this road into... surely I did not do that. That does not seem like that was me. So I'm going to turn that back. This road I definitely did. That was definitely me. There you go. Probably should have used the more dustier top. I keep forgetting to use the lighter top. You can keep going, it's fine. How far do you want to go? You go all the way to... you go out there. It's not a problem. I tell you what, though. I could upgrade it up to here. There you go. Yeah, sure. That could do the trick. Okay. So now we have that improvement. I need one more improvement here. Not for that road. Use the right road. There it is. So see, this is also a main road. So there are considerations. There are things we could consider. Now again, here I am very interested in seeing if I can keep that forest line. I'm going to see what happens. I'll see if things build up here and how bad they look. If they look okay, I'll leave it. Yes, if they look okay, I'll leave it. This is probably fine. Okay, there we go. So that is that part of Carnforth done. Perhaps I should I work on this side? Oh, ideas are starting about tunnels and connecting this up and having this loop around here and having it connects up to which road? This road here. That road right there. Which could then turn and go over and over the top of this, and that would be I'm thinking I'm working on improvements as we speak, and then this area, I can build this area up too. That's fine. We will get to that in due course. Yes, we will get to that in due course. Okay, let us have a look around at other places. So we've done... Oh, Bracknell's. Bracknell has really filled up as well. Now, the thing about Bracknell is that I could probably do that ring road system here. And it would probably work. Because there isn't anything, no railway in the way to work out. It's just have to destroy bits of it, which I can use the war as an excuse. Because we were all fighting in the war, and move from there. These are all very modern industrial buildings that I do not prefer. This is okay. I like this. This is perhaps a little oddly shaped. This is decent. These void of character. That is what... They are not terrible, but they are void of character. And I think the biggest issue I'm having with these, in all honesty, is the brick colour or the concrete colour. If they were made of brick, I would be looking at that and going, oh yes, those are quite lovely. But yeah, that's just that, isn't it? So I could create a ring road, and I can make the ring road so it connects up here. I could have it potentially bridge across. That would not be a problematic thing, would it? No. Then it could come up to here. I could turn this into a ring that goes around here, connects up to this road here, this one here, which I would then probably... No. This road here. So how do I connect? Well, that is already connected in that fashion. So we could say we are creating the ring in smaller segments. So we have, for example, this bridge here. If I were to somehow manage to get this bridge, it's going to break everything, but I'm just going to show what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. If I was to get this bridge and try and do this, just as an example, and try and do something like that, that would help. And then this could become the main road. As to why construction is not possible, it's probably because of these little things that I've put down here. We have these doohickeys. Yeah, see, there is a way of doing this. There is definitely a way to do this that would work for us. And then, in reality, then I suppose this road breaks, because this road is not doing anything. It's just dangling. It's a dangling road. It could break, or I break this bit, I swing this around and over, new road coming out from here, goes over the top of all of this from here, where it is much lower. So I could say, I'm just going to do that, and there. So I know that there's a bridge pillar collision. It's fine. I'm sure I can come up with something that will be suitable at some point. Anyway, something along these lines that then peels in to here. Okay, that is what I'm going to do. Bracknell is not going to change today with the ring road. I think I'm going to dedicate an episode to working out ring roads. What I'm going to do is expand Bracknell as it needs to be expanded. So I'm going to probably expand it down here quickly. Perhaps this area just here. In fact, I'm also going to expand this area. Let's do this bit. Let's just do this bit here. And I did say I was looking at making parkland, didn't I? So how about after I do the expansion, so let's do, ooh, mind you, this could actually end up being a park. This is a huge park. Maybe. Let me see. This bit. We'll start with this bit. I'm going to destroy. Oh, these are modern fixed bushes, not some of the what's it called? Assets. These are asset bushes, not whatever these are called, spline bushes, I guess. Right. Okay. So let's get rid of these bushes. Be very careful with these though, because of how I'm going to expand. So let's expand it. Let's try and let's expand this slowly, shall we? So we'll do that. We'll expand this section first. See how it goes, and then continue expanding. And I think we have got to that time, that era where these sorts of expansions are going to happen, because there's going to be so much that suddenly needs expanding. I was not expecting this, for example, to be filled up the way it is. So I was planning on having that as the potential ring. I think that ring might not be the greatest ring. I think this one here might be a better option. I'm not entirely certain. But given the design of this town and the way it has worked, I'm going to try to... What am I going to do? Let's bring a road down from here, shall we? Yes, this looks reasonable. So I'll bring a road down from here. That goes down out this way. Not that. I said not that, and then I went and built it anyway. And I've ruined some of the... But it's fine, I can put those back in. And what I'm going to do, which makes a difference from what I normally do, or did with this town, is I'm going to actually start looking at... Oh no, I said I was going to build a ring road up there. No, never mind me. I'm going to do this. Because this will be something that offshoots off a ring road, or eventually, if I were to do something like that, actually becomes the ring road itself. We have to... This is all going to be part of a very careful plan. And part of that plan is going to be upgrading certain roads. And I think this one has to be one of them. There you go. That is part of the plan. There. And then I can go... Let's build here and turn in. Yes, let's go right up along the back of this there. And then along here we'll go. Let's expand this. No, this one needs to be a smaller road. Oh, this needs to be a smaller road too. Let's do that. There we go. Better. Can we connect this one up too? This is possible. I see no logical reason why we would not do that. And then this is just to build something in a little bit of an area without a through road. And then here, I'm probably looking at... no. I'm probably looking at that, yes. I might actually just try and connect this up. So bring this out. Is that the right angle that I'm going at? Yes, I am. And then just do this. Oh, or not that. Wait. Wait for it. It will look right. That. There we go. I think maybe that is a good option here. Maybe the same sort of thing. Here, in fact, gives me an opportunity to continue this road. This could do something. Not that. Not that. Definitely not that. That. There we are. And you know what? With that curvature, it could just work. And this one is... No, we did want to connect this. Connect up. There we go. Okay, so that is some additional area for Bracknell, which is... Bracknell is a weird town. Definitely a weird town. Carnforth, how is that addition? Yep, people are starting to move in, or industries are starting to build up. This bit, I said I wanted to fix this bit. You go away, you go away, you can stay. I'm going to put boundary bushes here, across 4. Where's the other one gone? Not a clue. And I will place them right there. I will then look at removing that tree. I'm going to remove this and its trees and that. I'm going to put boundary... I'm going to put a boundary bit in here just to try and block this off from exactly that. So that should make things a little bit better. And then I'm going to grab the ballast paint brush and just paint this whole area. That might become a car park, you know. Just thinking about it. There we are. Trying to avoid the middle bit. Really does not need painting. It's not important because you cannot see the middle bit, but there we go. Oh, apparently I've painted almost all of it anyway. So now for completion's sake, I'm going to have to do this. There we are. Okay, good. So that should keep that bit a little bit better. That's 2 towns expanded. Let's have a potter around different places. West Brom is going to need... Or West Brom is definitely going to need some expansion. So we have this area here, which I think is prime real estate for expansion. Actually work on this road. build this road from Macclesfield to West Brom. That would be an interesting road. Maybe I should start getting bus routes between these. But I think if I build this bit up... Oh, this is going to be interesting. Trying to figure out where... No, this bit could definitely be built up. It's the right buses. These are the right buses, yes. Are these the buses that have texture issues? Is that because I've got the thing on the wrong side? Yes! This is a mistake by me a few episodes ago, meaning that all the buses that I have, and I have fixed a number of them, but all the buses that I have are slightly wrong. In fact, have I fixed the other West Brom ones? No. Yes, so these ones are all slightly wrong because I misunderstood so it was written right-hand drive. What it meant is driving on the right, not right-hand drive. And it's just confusion between conventions, I suppose. And so I used a different convention and therefore got the wrong type of bus. And those buses have some slight issues. So I use this one. That is not the one I want. What I am going to use is... Now, realistically, North East Red and Cream and West Bromwich is not correct. It should be West Midlands Black and Cream. But, oh well. There we are. Now, these should all be... There we are. Much better. What is... Who's making all that racket? Who are you? You are 4471. You are in woeful condition. What is wrong with your vehicles? Not to edit. Well, that's just terrible. That needs to be improved. How fast are you going? 50. Not great. Who are you and what racket are you making? 2547. Also in woeful condition, doing 40. So loud. Right. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yes, I said I was going to work a bit on this area, so let's do that. 3 towns. By the end of this video, 3 towns will have been expanded. One fairly significantly, and the other 2... Well, this one might have a significant expansion too. And it does have to be done. I was thinking, and do let me know in the comments box below, on whether or not you think this is a good idea. Can I just connect? Do you know what? I am going to connect that road. I think it is about time that gets connected, so I'll push this back as well. We'll build up this road. There we are. Okay, so do let me know in the comments box whether you think I should potentially time-lapse this. So do another episode where I do a lot of these expansions. Not the ring road one. I'll have to show that, but yeah, doing a lot of the expansions. Oh yes, this has been upgraded too, and I've got this area. I might even fill out this area. It should not take too long with Barnstable. I've got a lot of it done. Although now they are starting to move in and push this way. So yes, I might do this. Might do this one too. So 4 towns. Might as well check Attleborough whilst I'm at it. Ooh, no, you still have some room there and there and there. That is okay. I will start having to look at doing some of this though. You do not seem like a road I placed down. Hang on. Hang on. Is there a missing road? No? I should probably take control of that road and that road just in case. Just take control of all of it. Yes, there we go. And take control of that road. Just in case. And this one. Gives the the computer a lot less to mess around and break. Okay, so maybe I'll have to do a little bit there, but otherwise we seem to be okay. So with West Brom, I have this whole area here, which I am thinking of. I was thinking of putting a massive industry down here, in all honesty. And this wobbly section I'm not entirely keen on, so I might replace that. It is wobbly for no reason, so that is no good. But yes, this section I can build up in, and this section. So let's start with this section, and we will begin by placing this road. Yes, let's do that. No, I am controlling the road there, and I'll continue it up to about there, and thereafter it is going to become the country road with the 60 mile per hour speed limit. So I'll do that. And we'll go up to there. Up to there. Vehicles are using this road. Up to there. And then that. Now, this sort of staggered junction is not unusual in the United Kingdom. I have driven through many of these staggered junctions, so this is definitely not an unusual junction. So I'm definitely not against that, and I'm going to get rid of this because this seems pointless. There we are. And this bit here, I suppose that is how they were getting into West Bromwich in the first place, going down and through here. So what I'm going to do is, well, that road would have once been a, what kind of road would that have been? It's not the kind of road that I'm after. Is it this road? Okay, fine. It's that road. We'll do that. There we go. Yes, that will do the trick. Good. So we are getting somewhere. In fact, why not? All the way up to there. Or just this little bit here as well. There we go. Okay. Improvement to that section. I will leave this as is. And then let's build. Let's put a road in just here. So we have that road as a main road. Could I turn... Is that a main road? The only way to find out is when I try to do this and it looks like things are... Yes, that is a main road. So one main road there, that is fine. I think what I need to do is a bunch of side roads off this main road that build up an area here and one exit out on this side. That makes sense to me. We'll build it this way. Yes, let's do that. We'll build it this way. I remember when I originally designed this. It's many, many episodes ago. So we'll do this. Maybe I should do the exact same sort of style. You know, why not? Why not with the styling? So line that up with this as best as I can. So if I can get that in the center, and I'll line that up in a similar fashion. 125 yards. 100 and... No. Cave, will you? 125 yards, 125 yards. That way. And this will obviously be a little bit different because of how it's... No, actually, I could do here is I could just join it up like so. It would not be that. I'd much prefer it to be a straight. I'd prefer it to be that. So I'm going to try that and then try and hook that up like that. And I'll figure out what to do with that bit. Probably the same concept here. Oh, I want it to be that. No, I have a better idea for this one. I'm going to pull this one a lot further back. That's way too far back. That far back. To do that. Yes. And then from here, this bit will curve and go over to like that. This bit here will bit of a straight bit. No, we'll curve it and have it go up to there like that without touching it. Yep. Then out here we shall have a row that does that and does, in fact, that will connect. Yes, that part connects up to that side. This part does not, because there's nothing that needs to connect here. So that will do that, that will do that. We'll do this, make a bit of a blocked area. Do that, maybe even connect that up like that. This is, again, industrial estates and places like that have this. This is perfectly normal. So we'll do that and that. We'll bring this across like so. We'll bring that across like that. Straight over. And then this bit in the middle, I am going to go. So this one was a lot. The only thing is this is a lot bigger than the one across, but that's not too much of a problem, I think. How about I do that? I think that looks pretty good. I should have taken pictures of all of these areas. Autosave telling me that it is coming up to the end of this particular episode. I think that is pretty reasonable. This bit I'm going to have to figure something out. I do not like how this bit's designed. A blitz happened here. I'm going to destroy this bit. This bit can be destroyed. Maybe it destroyed the railway station as well, which is why that will be my excuse for somehow making 4 tracks here, because I think this needs 4 tracks. And then we'll have bridges and stuff are going to be interesting here, but I might tunnel it instead. Make this I guess the road goes there. So what would happen if I did that and tunneled this bit to pop out just here? Should change this, but tunnel that, pops out here, goes there. That would be fine. And then this area. No, then you do all of that. If you want to go this way, you just turn off here and we'll have this main road. That will be a main road to get across to that side. That makes more sense to me. That makes a lot more sense to me. Maybe I can tunnel and then that would remain. That becomes the main way through there. Oh, but then you have this one that comes in from, I suppose, Barnstable, you've got that side. I'll have to figure out ideas, please. Let me know what you are thinking. This is probably going to be removed at some point anyway, but for completion's sake, I'm actually going to use this one. Forgotten how many of these I had. It's that one that I'm going to use. Yes. Just for completion's sake, I'm just going to put this in. It isn't ideal, but it will do the trick. Instead of me placing the asset, knowing that I'm going to remove it fairly soon. Have I done that? There we are. That will do. Okay. Not too shabby. Let's see how well that all grows. Not a big expansion. Perhaps just a little one. But see, then if I wanted to expand this bit, what I would do is I actually have the road that comes up here and into this area, and I would probably connect it there, but not these bits. So small expansions there. That has been a reasonable one. That was a reasonable one as well. Let's go ahead and do Barnstable. Might as well, right? No harm. It is going to need it eventually, so why dilly-dally? Do that, and that. That gets that bit completed. So I put a tunnel in here. I'm not sure if I actually showed this. Clearly vehicles are using it. And just upgrade. Don't care. There we go. So that is now becoming part of the town. New little area. So not going to directly connect it up to anything there. I'm going to build a whole bunch of new things here. So we will start with one main road. That main road is that one and this one. That is actually going to be a main road, which means I will have to, because that is the main road. That's, I don't know what I'd call it, but that is the main road. So that becomes the main road, and I will upgrade this road all the way up to this junction here. Not that junction there. Okay, I'll upgrade it up to there. So that is the main road that takes you right into, well, right underneath the station, effectively into the town centre's there. But this is the town centre. This area here would be the town centre. The other thing I never did was village greens and all of that. I could spend a very long time on a very small map doing things, but I've realised that it is probably much better to, at least on a map like this, it is much better to not do that and instead just try to get as much of it done as possible, simply because, oh, could I connect that up? Simply because otherwise this is going to be a series that never ends. There. Do that. I'm actually going to break this and flatten it out properly. I want proper, there we go, that. Oh, these are cars. Cars can go up and down. So they do not have difficulty doing such things. Okay, into a new estate. So the new estate is going to have, let's design the new estate, shall we? The new estate is going to have, we'll start with a straight line here, so that I can make a straight line. I'll make a straight line below it, below where I want the actual road, and then I will try to, there we go. So The new estate is going to have some parallel areas, and I'm going to make let's make some boxes. So I'm going to have areas that have, should I say 60 yards? Let's do 60 yards. 61 yards, 62, okay. 65 yards. 65, I saw 65. Where's 65? There it is. There, how is that 65 yards? There. It then has a road that goes like this. For 65 yards. And the same thing here. For 65 yards. And then goes in like that. That is how that is going to be. And then there will be in the middle of it why did you do that? That will go for 80 yards. I'll then destroy that. So make like a dumbbell thing. And I guess what I can do here, this should now be really easy, is you build this along. No, you build this along in the same fashion. You just go connect that up exactly like that. This is what I was after. I think this is going to go wrong at some point, but it's okay. I'm going to keep trying until I get this right. This is going to be how this episode ends. So we'll do that. We'll do that. Then I measure out from here. So we break this. We then go 65 yards. And we build that. That looks pretty good. Okay, good. This area in the middle, these two, parks. So I'll boundary them. And then we do the same thing again. I'm not sure if this is going to actually reach all the way. So we'll do 80 yards. Maybe I should have done that at 60 yards or something. Why is that now 63 yards? Okay. No, I'll do that. That will be fine. There, that, and then that connects up there. Yes, that, and then we'll go straight through the middle, make that tiny little... Let's just try that. See how that works. So that becomes that, and then down here, you do this, and then it curves. Now we need the curve. I'll curve down to this, like so. Now the only way in is through this bit, but because we have all of this to play with, what we can do is we'll go 65 yards, like so. Tuck that in there just before the turn. Go across here for 65 yards. Bring that straight up to there. Oh no. Bring that straight up to... Bring that... Okay. We're not doing 65 yards here. We're going to go... We'll figure this out. I'm going to figure this out. It's probably going... Where... Transports Fever 2, please. Stop making it even more difficult than it already is. It's already difficult enough as it is. There we go. That, and that. Good. And then over here, we connect this up right there. Any other way in or out? Probably not. No. No other way in or out. However... Actually, no. We could have ways in or out here. Not there, but there. There we go. That is actually very London in its design. So you have a wibbly bit, and then you have this fancy pattern, and you'd have Victorian buildings and things like that. So I'm actually going to place the boundary posts in. I still cannot see the other... I don't know where it's gone. Let's use a tree. There we go. Better. I could put 2 trees there, most likely. There. This will do. There. 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 Should prevent anything building in the middle, but you never know. We'll find out. If something builds in the middle, I'm going to have to add some more of these trees. Now, ideally, what you would have here is you would have a couple of trees in the middle, and you would have some wrought iron fences or something like that. That is how this would work. But I'm not sure that I can actually put that level of detail in, nor am I sure I have the time to put that level of detail in. I'm supposed to have finished this episode too. Oh well. Just want to put that bit in. Okay, so that is that section. Let me now finish off this bit. How would I do this bit? Well, you know what? Let's destroy this section. Let's do something similar on this side. So you'd have the road go across, like so. You'd then have let's do that. Bring it across there. Now, you have the back of the railway here. Now, in reality, these would be probably, at this point in time, they would then be covered. There is this connection. I'm not all too convinced that that connection would actually be used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say we'll go 50 yards. Bring it across. We will go connect there. Halfway through. Is that halfway? Not quite. About there. No. About there. No. It is just between those. There we go. No. There. That looks better. So we'll do that. And I am very tempted to just do this. Would that be a thing? No, I think there would potentially actually be a junction here like that. A connection. I think that would be what happens. And then here you'd have the... So you do that. Yes, that would be like that. That would be the additional parkland bit. That would be like so. And then you'd go... There would be a connection here, or would it be all the way... I think for something like this, it would be down at the end. So it would be here. And then you'd have this road in the middle. That would... No, come on. There we go. That goes like that. 65 yards. There has to be some sort of semblance of pattern going on here. That would probably be there. And in fact, I would then say that this road would disappear. This road would disappear. That would probably be... Actually, and that road. That would be more like it. Yes. that looks much more like what I would expect. And then over here, there'd be a whole different bunch in at this angle that you'd put in, or at this angle with a few of the curves. So now that is done, I think we have a good time to end this episode. Let's take a look at West Brom. Anything growing here? One building there. Some buildings here along the road where they could not build, and there. So that is progressing. And then people using this road. Yes, we have usage of this road. We have a horrible. So lesson learned for the next series, Transport Fever 3. First off, no mods for the first one, despite the fact that there will be mods from day one. No mods in the first. I want to do a completely vanilla playthrough. In the second one, be far more careful with the mods. Do not use bushes as trees mod. Any bushes as trees mod, do not use. And we do have things starting to grow here. So we've got that. This bit has started. Those buildings there were already there. This bit. Oh no, this is new. Yes, I just placed this road. So that bit. Traffic is interesting in this area. I'm assuming that they all go... No, they're not going into various different... Trying to figure out where this traffic is going will be important to understand or where the ring road needs to go. But I think I have an idea for the ring road there. And then in Bracknell, things are building up. So that is probably going to be filled in no time. But that is where I'm going to end this episode. And I think this is probably a good time or a good place to end. Would be not quite where I started. Obviously, I started in Croydon, but where we actually started the bulk of our work. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transports Fever 2, the UK modded series. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Any suggestions you might have. I might do some more of this off camera. I might time-lapse it. I'm not entirely certain. One of the things that I probably will do off camera, if I can, is go around readjusting the signals, not with the better signals, but just readjusting them to the blocks that I think they need to be. So I believe in the last video I said 880 yards, so that's half a mile, was what I wanted for general blocks, and then closer to the station it was a choice of either doing 575, which I think was a third of a mile, or 440, which is a quarter mile between signal blocks. So those sorts of things are the things that I'm going to probably work on off camera, just getting those bits done, and then we'll return to better signals. I'm going to stay in the 1940s for the next few episodes, just because I do like the way the trains look, and I want to make sure things are expanded reasonably well through the 40s before we move into the 50s. The 50s is when I will probably start doing the ringway system. So I'll look at the towns and start figuring out how to make large ringways or small ringways between them. Obviously at this scale, perhaps not needed, but it will probably look a little nicer than we currently have our towns looking. Who knows? Eventually things might connect up. So yes, thank you very much for that. If you wish to do so, you can support me on Patreon. Check me out on Discord and also social media. Links to all of those in the description box below. Unfortunately, you don't really get much for it apart from supporting me. I would say that I'd remove ads from YouTube, but even if I do remove ads still show up now, so I cannot really do that. It's not worth it. But oh well, it is what it is. Maybe I can put some ad-free stuff on Patreon. That is an idea. Watch ad-free on Patreon. I might have to think about that. That is all from me, and I shall see you next time in Transports Fever 2, the UK modded series.